Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Deskside Chats podcast presented by the City of Northport. My name is Madison Hyde, and I'm the Deputy Communications Manager for the city. Everyone has a story, right? In this podcast, I'll be learning the stories of our employees right here in the City of Northport. Join me as I chat with folks from all walks of life across departments and divisions. We're building a community of unity. Get to know the staff working for you every day. Now let's lean in and chat Deskside.
Bonjour les amis. Êtes-vous prêts pour un épisode génial?
That was supposed to be hello friends, are you ready for an awesome episode? In French. This is according to a translation app, so don't hold me to the accuracy of that. Today we're chatting with Security Administrator Rosalie Sanders. Originally from France, she moved to Florida as a teenager and learned English on the fly. She worked hard to help pay for her 2 bachelor's and 1 master's degree, and she's now landed at the city. We are super lucky to have her. And you guys can debate as you're listening who has a better accent. Is it me with a Midwestern Wisconsin accent or Rosalie with a French accent? I'm sure it's a tough choice. So I hope you enjoy this varied and interesting episode. À tout à l'heure, which is supposed to maybe mean see you later. I'm sure I butchered that. Enjoy, you guys. Hi, Rosalie.
Hi, Madison.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I figured I would, do it because nobody else was going to in IT.
You're right. IT is a challenging one, for sure, to get someone to. So I appreciate you doing that. So when we usually do this, we start from the top, or the beginning, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I know that you were born in France. I can't say that properly and beautifully like you probably can, but tell me about how your family started off there.
Okay. My grandfather was actually in the U.S. Air Force. He enrolled when he was 17 in the 50s. And in France, where I'm from, there was a huge American military area because of following World War II. So a lot of Americans were stationed there. He met my grandmother, got married, brought her back to the U.S. They had a couple kids, and then she left him, I think around the time he was going to Vietnam in the 60s. I don't know the exact date of the Vietnam War, but he was going to Vietnam. She went back to France with her kids. My dad was born in France on an American base. And then it was always his lifelong dream of moving to the U.S. because his dad was American.
Yeah, yeah, of course, okay.
Midlife crisis hit my parents. They're like, let's sell everything and move to the U.S. Yeah. So that's how we ended up here. Okay,
and was it in Florida?
Florida, yes.
Oh, you came straight to Florida, okay.
They actually took a 2-week trip and they went around Florida. They started off in Miami, came on this coast, went up north Jacksonville, came back down, and they absolutely love Sarasota. My dad really wanted to go to California because that's where his dad was originally, but it's too far. If you have to go back to France, it's such a long trip.
That's a long trip, yeah.
It's already like 10 hours from here.
Is it?
Okay. It took me 9 hours to go to California from here, and I'm like, you know what? I'm glad we didn't go that far.
Right, absolutely. And you said that they've since gone back?
Yes. So,
sad.
Well, my mom was, they're like, we're getting old, and because they didn't work here for very long, they were afraid for their retirement and their health, because health insurance here sucked, lack of better words. And she really did not want to be here for Trump.
Okay.
So they left right before he got elected. They're like, we're out of here.
I see. Okay. All right. To each their own. Gotcha. All right. So then that was roughly, when did that happen?
2016.
2016, okay.
They were here for 10 years and then they went back.
Gotcha. Okay.
But my dad wanted to go back. He got his old job. They offered him his old job back. They're like, if you want to come back, we'll hire you on the spot. And so that worked out for them.
That's nice. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. And earlier, had you mentioned, like, what part of France you guys are
northeast. So northeast. Right next to Germany, right underneath Luxembourg and Belgium.
Okay.
So my family has a lot of like German heritage.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm very German and Midwestern because my grandfather's family's from Missouri.
It's an interesting
So,
mix.
Yeah.
So what traits do you have that make you Midwestern? Would you say?
Well, Midwestern kind of reminds you of German because like tall, broad, blonde.
It's true.
Well, I'm a redhead, but most of my family is like redhead or blonde. But I'm tall. Everybody's tall in my family. Everybody's at least over 5'10".
Wow.
Except for a few people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's super tall.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was kind of tall. I'm only 5'8". I'm like super short.
And I was born premature, and I'm almost 6 foot tall. And I always make the joke, what would have happened?
Yeah.
If I
it went all the way.
Circle.
Like a 7 foot tall person. Oh my god, I love that. Okay. All right, so you're here. So you came when you were about 13. Mm-hmm. So did you have any siblings, or is it?
I have an older sister.
Okay.
She was 16.
Okay.
We didn't speak English. We took English in school, so we learned basic like hello, how are you?
Right.
But we basically got thrown in the culture.
Yeah.
She went to East High School. I went to Northport High School, and we just had to learn on the go.
Wow.
Because I'm a little younger, it was easier for me.
Sure. Yeah.
Even today, if I don't tell you I'm French, would you guess my accent is French?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I would know that you're European.
That would be my guess. A lot. I get
Oh.
people think I'm Russian a lot. Not because of the accent, but because of my facial features.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any of that heritage at all?
No.
Okay.
The furthest back I've gone is 1700s to Switzerland.
Okay.
For my family heritage. So
Gotcha.
it's like Germany, Switzerland, France.
So you've been all just in that same little area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
cool.
No Russian, but I worked with people, when I worked at Walmart for 9 years, I worked with people for 9 years, they didn't find out until like the end. They're like, what? I'm like, I go to France every year, how do you not like put two and two together?
Right,
you
and
know?
you do have like, you don't have like a super heavy accent, but it's there, like, you could tell, so you would think they'd be like, where are you from, or whatever. Interesting. And so that takes us into, so you worked at Walmart for 9 years, and you were doing that to work on paying off school, right?
Yeah, so I got hired at Walmart after high school, like a couple of years when I was in college, and it was just it was supposed to be, temporary, just pay for school, get a job, but then I kept switching my majors, and then I got my first bachelor's in technical writing,
Okay.
and I really wanted to do marketing and advertisement, like art and writing together, and then USF had this program for cybercrime and digital forensics.
Oh, cool.
And I grew up loving NCIS and like those shows. I'm like, oh my god, what is that? So I got into that, and then I went back because Walmart was actually paying for school. They have like this program now. They fully 100% pay your tuition, but
Oh, wow.
they provide you with like a list of schools and programs you can do. And they actually had cybersecurity. I was like, well, might as well take advantage and
Right.
have them pay for it.
For sure.
So I did that. And then because I know someone at Charlotte County, she talked to her boss who was friends with the IT manager, and he told him about me. So they interviewed me for like an internship, and they got me in, and then they wished, they could have kept me. They didn't have a budget for a position. But then the manager there knows Eric, and he's like, hey, I have someone if you're looking. So I got really lucky.
Yeah, that's awesome. It all seemed to line up perfectly for you to end up here. And and how long have you been here now?
Like 10 weeks.
10
Been
weeks.
around 3 months.
Okay. Now, no pressure since you're on a city podcast, but how are you liking it so far?
It's actually really good.
Okay.
I like it. I like everybody that I've met so far, so.
Yeah, this is a good bunch of people here for sure. Yeah. So, okay, now, I'm sorry. So we went into the Walmart thing because you mentioned it, but now I'm going to rewind again because I just want to talk about France some more, because also I want to talk about, like, what do you miss the most about being there?
The food.
I was literally, okay, I was going to say, what do you miss about the food? But I thought I would start that way, and you said food anyway. So tell me, like, what are the best things there that you can't find here?
My favorite dish is veal scallop.
Okay.
I feel like here people think it's kind of cruel because it's a baby cow, but it's delicious meat. I love rabbit. Me and my dad, we love rabbit, and when it's cooked in like wine or we went to a restaurant, they cook it in like apple cider.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
It's delicious.
Okay.
Pastries.
Yeah.
When I go back, I always gain like 10 pounds because
You got to.
I go visit my grandparents, I go visit my aunts, and I go visit my cousins, and they always have pastries.
Right. Well,
like
you have
coffee
to.
and pastries, you know.
What are you supposed to do? You can't say no. It's rude.
So I try to be good and not eat as much. I'll eat everything, but not as much of it.
Right. Just like dabble in little bits.
Yeah.
Is there a certain pastry that's your favorite, or just all?
Yes, it's called a Paris-Brest, and it looks like a donut with cream cheese, but it's sweet, and it's like a pastry, like a fluffy pastry, and it's hazelnut.
Ooh.
It's like a hazelnut spread, like not a custard. It's kind of like a fluffy spread. It's hazelnut. This one restaurant, this movie director opened his own restaurant, and the way he does it, they grill almonds on like the stove with sugar. Yeah. And they add it to that. Yeah, it's delicious.
That sounds amazing. I'm sure I'm like making you miss all that now, huh? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm trying to go, trying to take a vacation and go back. So.
Oh, good. Okay. So you usually go each year, or you try to?
I try to go once a year.
Okay. How long do you usually stay out there?
I usually take about 9 days off because it's a 2-day to go there and a whole day to come back. So then it leaves me with usually like 6 days, 7 days.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, I'm sure those travel days are... I mean, I've only traveled to Europe one time, but I'm sure it's a
when it's a direct flight, it's not as bad, but the issue is that you're flying overnight, and it's really difficult to sleep in the plane, sitting up.
Yep.
During COVID, I went during COVID because I'm a French citizen, so I was able to go in and come back. Mm-hmm. And in the one plane, there was 5 of us. That's it. In the whole plane.
Really?
I had like a whole half of the plane by myself.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, you can lay wherever you want. You can go, like I had like a whole row to just lay down and sleep.
Oh, that's
and that was like
nice.
the best time. I'm like, I miss those times.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I'm sure, like, did they still make you, like, did they have you wear a mask and stuff still?
I still have to wear a mask.
Yeah, okay. Well,
so that kind of sucked, but at least I had room to spread out.
Right. And I mean, masks are usually, I mean, honestly, are not a bad idea on planes in general. It's like a little tube of people coughing and
I remember
recirculating
when,
air.
I think it was swine flu came out in like 2009, 2010, and I was flying back and we had to wear a mask on the plane. I remember my mom telling me that when she would go to Publix, she had to wear a mask, and I think that was 2009.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Here, but I don't remember anything about it.
I don't remember either. I was in college, so I'm sure I was ignoring it. as a college person in Wisconsin.
I was in high school and we didn't have to wear any masks, but she was telling me about it. I'm like, I don't remember any of that. It was like some kind of flu came out.
Yeah, swine
like
flu was
10 years.
there. Yeah. What else was there? There's been many a different thing. Okay, so now let's move on to what you enjoy doing, which I understand is ride horses. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how do you get access to that? I don't know how else to ask that, but I know it's kind of like not a rare thing, but an uncommon thing that people like to do. So where do you go to do that?
So back at Walmart, I had a friend whose sister owned horses, and I was telling him how I miss riding because I started riding when I was 6 years old in France, and I hadn't been able to in a few years here. And he told me, my sister has horses, why don't you call her up, see if she'll let you ride them. Well, his sister had horses at a rescue barn that had like 15 other horses. And I met the guy who runs it. It's like this little like 77-year-old man from Wisconsin.
Of course. Okay.
And I told him, like, I used to ride when I was a kid. I rode English. I really miss it. And he's like, okay. He put me on his mare. And I was like, oh my god, like, I missed it. And then every week since then, so like 4 years ago, I've been riding with this old man, like, every week.
Oh, cool.
And helping out. So he basically rescues horses from people who don't want their horses anymore. And he pays them like $1 and he gives them like a bill of sale. So they can't take the horse back or anything. Right. And he just takes care of them. He feeds them. People will pay him to ride them. It's like $30, $40. Okay. And if you want to lease, it's like, depending on what horse, it's like a couple $100 a month, but you can go as many times as you want.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So
So do you have a favorite one there?
I have two favorite ones. One I no longer ride because she's 29 years old now. She's old.
Whoa.
She
Okay.
used to be an event horse, so she used to do dressage and jumping and competitions.
Mm-hmm.
And then her owner, their kids stopped riding, so they gave her away.
They got over it. Okay.
And then the other one is his mare. And he's had her since she was born.
Wow.
And she's 15 or 16 years old, so she's a
Okay.
little more spunky.
Right.
and
Right.
crazy.
Yes. Yep. And what
But-
are their names?
So the one that I stopped riding is Bailey.
Okay.
She's a bay. That probably doesn't mean anything to you. Thoroughbred.
Okay.
Which is like a racehorse.
Okay.
So
sure.
she has the body of a racehorse, the
Mhm.
same color and everything, brown with the black mane. And then the other one is a Pinto. She's black and white,
Okay.
and her name is Gypsy.
Chips. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And where is this person located?
In Venice.
Oh, in Venice. Okay.
So he used to be behind where the new police station opened up,
Mm-hmm.
and then he moved over to behind 75 to another property.
I see. Okay.
And it's kind of like a word to mouth thing. It's nothing like he has a Facebook. It's like a non-profit rescue,
Mm-hmm.
but it's nothing like official that
Right.
you could like Google and find.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we didn't give too much away on this
No.
podcast. I think we're
You
good.
can always use more writers.
That's true.
So-
Yeah. Well, yeah, then hopefully maybe he sees this post or something and he can comment and send people to his spot or something.
He has a lot of like women that are involved,
Mhm.
and those women, talk to their friends. We talk to their friends. Who
Yes.
talk to their friends. We have kids, and so
Right.
he gets a lot of business
Oh, good.
and a lot of help. Yeah,
Good. Okay. Because, yeah, I was wondering where they were located because I know a lot of people also are, a lot of those things happen in Arcadia too. Like I'm sure.
There's a few like stables here in Northport.
Oh, yeah, out like in the Estates area.
Yeah. I haven't been to it, but I know they're
Yeah,
over
me either.
there.
Right. Yeah, I know that's where, when I worked for the newspaper, I covered a story where somebody lost their pig. So that's what it's like in the Estates. They found the pig. The pig was fine.
Okay, good.
But that was funny. When I was there, I was like, wow, this is what I do. I search for lost pigs. Okay. That was a while ago. But, all right, so this is, we've come to like sort of the end here, but I usually end it with 3 questions that are kind of, that I ask everybody.
Right.
Okay, so the first one is your favorite movie. Do you have a top favorite?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a 1970s French make of a German fairy tale called Donkeyskin.
Donkeyskin?
Donkeyskin.
Okay. Is that like a weird direct translation, or is that really what it...
It's a translation. It's
Okay.
Donkeyskin. It's a princess, and her mother died, and before she died, she made the king promise that he would remarry because he needs an heir to the throne. He needs a son, but he can only remarry somebody who's more beautiful and smarter than her. Weird promise, really hard, really hard to follow.
Yes.
So he looks for all the princesses around and all the eligible, women, and he finds this one portrait of this girl and he falls in love with her, and it's his daughter. But because he basically became a recluse and didn't see his daughter for months,
Sure, yeah.
He didn't
Yeah.
realize it's his daughter, and then the guy, his minister, is like, "That's your daughter." That's weird.
Maybe not.
And
Yeah.
then he's like, I will marry her because I made a promise to my wife, etc. So she runs away to her fairy godmother because she's like, I can't, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And the fairy godmother is like, okay, ask him 3 impossible requests, and if he fulfills all of them, come back and see me. So she goes back and she asks him for one dress color of the weather. And
Okay.
movie magic, they made this beautiful blue gown with clouds are moving and
Sure.
beautiful weather.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then she goes back, asks for a dress color of the moon.
Okay.
They come back and make her this beautiful silver with diamond shining bright dress.
Okay.
The third one is a dress color of the sun. Same thing, it's gold this
Right.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is, so she goes back to her fairy godmother and she said, okay, to really test his love, ask him for the skin of his donkey. And his donkey actually poops rubies and sapphires and diamonds and gold. So if he kills his donkey to give her the skin, then he truly loves her, right?
Right.
So he comes back with the skin of the donkey. He killed his donkey and he skinned it and gave her the skin. Fairy godmother shows up after the king leaves and she puts the skin on the princess and hides her. And when she wears it, everybody sees her this ugly, thing. Nobody wants to be near her.
Oh
She's
my
horrible.
God. Yeah.
She runs away into the woods to another kingdom. She lives in the woods, and she basically takes care of pigs for that kingdom. She's just like the pig girl.
Okay, yes.
But in her little cabin, she has all her beautiful dresses, so when she's alone, she puts on the dresses. And then the prince from the other kingdom one day stumbles upon her hut in the woods and sees her as a princess, goes back, and he's like, who's the beautiful princess in your cabin in the wood? And they're like, Donkeyskin? Like, what?
Ew. Yeah.
So then,
interesting
like,
taste.
Cinderella kind of plays in where he asks for a cake from her, and she puts her ring in the cake. And when he eats it, he finds the ring, and then he calls all the women in the kingdom to come try on the ring.
Yes. Okay.
And whoever the ring fits, he'll marry. And she shows up in her donkey skin. He puts the ring on her. She takes the skin off, and it's a beautiful princess.
That's a fun movie. I was so wondering how Donkeyskin was going to be incorporated. I was waiting for that part.
It's an old, I think it's like a German fairy tale, and in the 70s they decided to make a
cool.
movie. It's like a musical.
So were the special effects just amazing?
Oh yeah.
For the dresses?
They had
just...
Yeah, the dresses, and then they had like this rose in the woods with like that would talk to you, and then when he wouldn't talk, there was just like an eyeball in the rose. horrible movie effects.
That sounds amazing. I'm gonna be Googling this. So what is the French name?
Peau.
Peau? That sounds a lot better than Donkeyskin. That sounds a lot nicer. I mean, everything sounds a lot nicer, I'm sure, in French than in English. Anyway. All right, so next question. TV show.
Right now, I'm really into this older, I think it's probably came out like 2013, 14. I say older, but yeah. It's called Fringe, and it's like an FBI, they work on fringe science, which is like futuristic biomechanical science. It's a really good show. It's on HBO. I never even heard of it. And then one day I just was like looking, I'm like, oh, what's Fringe? And my boyfriend's like, oh, it's like this FBI that like meets Men in Black, meets Dr. House.
Ooh.
Like, or like Twilight Zone. Yeah. So we started watching that. It's really good. And then Westworld.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard of it. I've not seen it, but I know of it.
The first season is amazing. The second is like the later seasons are a little but
just
the first
can't live up to
season
the
is
first
like
one. Yeah.
really good. It's really worth watching the first season.
Okay.
And then there's like a weird 70s movie with, I think, is it James Brolin? Whichever one is married to Barbara Streisand.
Yes, I think
James or Josh.
Yeah, I think it's James.
James,
I think so.
The 70s Westworld, like terrible movie effect, but it's really good.
So you're into terrible movie effects is what it's coming down to? Okay.
I love it. It's so cheesy, but it's so good.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so now the last one, ice cream flavor.
Double chocolate chip.
Oh.
So just chocolate with chocolate chip.
Just lots of chocolate.
Yeah. That's
Simple.
my go-to.
Okay.
Or butter pecan.
Oh. Very different ones. Okay. Well, you strayed from the most popular answer that I've been getting is mint chocolate chip has been the that's been many people's favorite.
Everybody's gonna hate me, but I hate mint, and I hate peppermint, and I hate all the mints.
Okay. So like even gum and all that stuff?
Oh, I can't stand it.
Oh.
But it's such like a popular American flavor.
It is.
Like grape, I can't stand grape. Or like watermelon.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like the watermelon. Grape I can do. Yeah. Watermelon.
But no. Mint, anything mint, I'm unable to. Even if I accidentally eat something with mint, I'm like, oh.
You know. Oh my god, so then what do you do about like toothpaste and stuff? That's like everywhere. Mint is everywhere in America.
I use all natural toothpaste that don't have that strong.
Yeah.
I mean, I suck it up and I do it, but it's like the all natural that doesn't taste like just pure mint.
Yeah. Okay. You find a way around it. Yeah. All right. Well, we have made it to the end here, Rosalie. I really appreciate you joining me on here today. I'm sure people will be arguing about whose accent is nicer, a Wisconsin one or a French one.
I can't wait to not listen to it.
That's how I feel.
I can't stand my voice.
I can't either. Not yours, mine. So I'm with you. We'll see. I hope someone's listening to it. So everybody has a great day, and I will see you all next week for the next Deskside chat. See you later.